Hello, everyone, and welcome to the beginning of the week. Today is Monday, the 18th, and we have Miss Ashley here today. She's part of our project management team, and she has some communication tips to tell you about your website. But to start with, we have a piece of news about Google, but welcome, Ashley. Google has been making some changes lately, and first change is that they had a major May core update and they're calling these things really boring names now. They used to have them with Penguin and Panda and really fun names. Now it's May 2020 updates. So it's kind of generic and boring. But it's a big update. It's a core update, which means they are rattling the SEO pages and work pretty heavily. So we don't know what this means yet, because per normal, Google doesn't really tell us. They don't really even tell us the update comes. They just tell us it happens. So we're going to see for the next 1 to 3 months, you're going to see some variation of perhaps how your website ranks. So just check it out, keep an eye on it, work with your SEO provider, but do expect some positioning changes in Google because of this update. And of course, as we get more information, we will let you know exactly what the core May 2020 update means. So Ashley, you are talking about websites today too, correct, in communication?
Yes.
Awesome. What do you have for us today?
So a lot of my tips today are very similar to kind of the beginning of the pandemic, and that's just making sure that what you're doing in your practice is clearly communicated to your clients. They're really going to be looking to you for answers on how you're operating, things that have changed, especially now that some states are opening back up or easing restrictions. So it may feel like you're constantly updating or, telling clients the same things over and over again, but it's really important that you have that message clear and visible on your website. So a good place for that is just right there on the home page, continuing to just talk about what you're doing. Maybe you're still doing curbside, maybe your lobby's still closed, just making sure that whatever you're offering, whatever your guidelines are or your expectations are for pet parents as they come to your practice, that is clearly stated. So when your clients go to your website, they don't have to search out for that information, that it's right there on the front page. So if you want to move over to the next slide. Yeah, so it's really important to have those call to actions about what you do offer. If you prefer to call, have that give us a call button right there. If you offer telemedicine still, make sure that that's visible. Just kind of whatever that you're doing, you just want to make sure that that's still live on your home page. So you could go to the next slide. Perfect. So pop-up is another great tool for that, to make sure that it's just clearly stated. And another thing that we find is that people might get frustrated if they're going to the website and it says one thing, but then they go to Google My Business and it says something else. They go to Facebook. So you want to make sure that your web presence across the board has all of your updated information. So if you go to the next slide, if you want to do like a COVID-19 update on Google My Business, that's a really clear messaging. That's something that they're offering. If you want to go to the next slide. So it's just right there when you log into Google My Business, there should be a stay connected during COVID-19. So you can go ahead and add that update in there. So that way everything is clear across the board about what you're doing in your practice.
So Ashley, we were kind of talking about this as a team today about expectations and assumptions with communication, right? Because some states are open, like 100%, like before COVID, sort of. And then it goes all the way down to complete lockdown, depending on which state you're in, there's some variation, right? And humans being what they are, we make assumptions based on our world.
Right.
So we're kind of seeing, and I know the client service team is seeing this, and that's the team you're on, is some crabby people. And right? Like Mhm.
People are frustrated, and I understand, and it's even more frustrating if you're trying to get your pet care and you can't find out, what your vet is doing. What is the expectation for when you make that appointment? Are you still offering your full services? Are you not doing grooming? Are you allowed back in the room with your pet? People want to know that information when they make that appointment.
Because I think what we're seeing is people make stuff up in their head, because we're humans, we all do that, right? We all create our own world. And then it doesn't match the reality of what the veterinary hospital is. Like, for example, open to a animal pet owner might mean the lobby's open.
Right.
Right? And so then they get there and they're like, whoa, it's curbside. What do you mean? Like, this is throwing me for a loop.
Right.
So your solution is, and the client services here at Beyond Indigo, is communicate, correct?
Definitely. Communicate in every way that you can. Send those newsletters, update your website homepage, have a dedicated page, like a news and promotions area on your website, so you can really break down kind of what you're doing and what the updates are. What does your state opening mean for your practice and for your clients? You can put that information there. Are you still offering telemedicine? Because that's a useful tool. Make sure that that's clear on your website. Just continue to communicate, even if it feels like you have to keep saying the same things over and over again on your Facebook, on your Google My Business, on your website. But it's just important because people, they don't always remember, and they're going to be looking for that information.
Yeah, and they don't, like, you're right, they don't remember. And then they don't know if the needle has changed for instructions. And then they're stressed out maybe about Fluffy because of whatever's going on with their pet animal. And then they may be stressed out most likely about life in general, right? So there's a lot of external pressures on people's minds. So the best that we can do, even if the hospital's really, really sick of it, is to do the same thing over and over and over, right? And over. Yeah. I think about that with, like, famous rock bands or musicians, right? Like, they come out with this hit song and it's really exciting. And then they're stuck with it for, like, the rest of their lives, right? And then they get older and older, and then bands from the 80s and the 90s are still playing those hit songs. I wonder, like, how tired of them? Like, how do they get the enthusiasm? Because all their fans want to hear the hit song, right? Now they're like, this is the 7,000th time I've played this song.
Right.
So I think it's kind of one of those musician scenarios where they're going to have to be like the musicians and keep playing that song. The wording for the veterinary hospital. Yeah.
For people who are worried, they want to know what steps, their practice is taking to keep their employees safe and them safe and their pets safe. And even if you're kind of reminding them, we're still here, we're still open, we're still doing curbside, or our lobby is still closed. It's important to keep that information, in the front of people's minds and kind of available and out there.
Yep, because other businesses are changing too.
Yeah.
Like Costco just went to, you have to have masks. Well, they did not have masks. So does that translate into, do I need a mask for the veterinary hospital, or do I just stay in the car? I mean, there's just not enough consistency in the whole general wide world to know what does that mean, right?
Consistency is key.
Consistency is key. I think we'll leave it there with consistency is key. Keep that up and keep it awesome. So we just got off of a weekend, which is great. And I encourage all of you to go do stuff, because looking at a screen all the time isn't healthy for our mental health or our physical health, right? So you did something kind of fun this weekend for Marketing to Self. What did you and your husband do?
We went mountain biking, which is a big deal for me because I'm not as outdoorsy of a person. So that was like a big step. So it was really fun. We went to some trails in North Scottsdale. So it's really deserty. Everything's blooming right now. It's beautiful out. It was still pretty warm because it's Arizona. So it was still in the 90s, even at like 8 in the morning. But it was worth it to get some sunshine and some fresh air and to get some exercise. So it was really great.
Well, congrats for you for going outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
right? Thank you.
Waking up early and mountain biking. It was a big deal.
Two of them together, right?
Yes.
No, I think the more we can get off screens these days, because there's so many meanings. I mean, okay, so we're used to this world and Beyond Indigo.
Yes.
This still feels different during this time. I don't know, it just does.
Yeah.
Getting away from the screen, getting sun, getting vitamin D, doing something different than the same old,
Yes.
really good for mental health. So thank you for doing that for yourself.
Of course.
Well, thank you for being here and giving us updates. And again, just use those pop-ups. Google My Business. Facebook has some new COVID options too to let people know if your business is open or not. So please utilize them and communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.